Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I am going to walk us through the author study and the invention of Hugo Cabret lit study, and we will see how far we get. Okay, so hopefully you had the chance to listen to my final project overview video, which is right above the final project overview. So if you haven't, please go back and listen to that. That breaks down the entire project, including the template and how to navigate through all parts of that assignment. Okay, so this video I'm focusing on the author study. So the author study is not due till later on, right at the end of the course, the last 2 weeks of the course. But this assignment is not affiliated with your final project. It has nothing to do with your final project. It has nothing to do with your annotated bibliography. It's this own assignment. So we have spent the entire semester reading different books, different genres, exploring different authors. But many of you came into this class with a favorite author in mind. Maybe it was somebody that you have loved since childhood, or that you just suddenly have begun to really love. But it needs to be an author that writes for children's literature. Except it cannot be Brian Selznick. Now, Brian Selznick is our author of Hugo Cabret, and I'm asking that you do not use him because we are going to be doing exploration of Brian Selznick in the literature study. So with the exception of Brian, you can do any children's literature author, anyone. This can be, again, like I said, your favorite or somebody you've just come to really like since the course began. I would like you to, once you have chosen your author, you will want to pick 5 books that your author has written and read them or review over them so that you have a full understanding of those particular books. Then you're going to do some research about your author. Most authors have a website or a spotlight, and in our course readings, there were a lot of links to authors' websites. So if you want to go back and use the readings as your direction, then that will be an excellent resource for you, or you can just do an online search. The research articles that have been written or videos that have been created about your author. Read and listen to the interviews with your author. So a lot of times the author will do podcasts or do videos on YouTube or even be interviewed for a radio station or a TV station. Do a search for such interviews because you will learn a lot. And it also can be written interviews as well. Once you've done that research, you're going to create a visually appealing digital poster. These are some examples. Pictochart seems to be one that everyone really likes. My only reminder is make sure it's set to public or set to be able to that I can open it. So if it's set to anyone with a link can open, that will be fine if you don't want it to be public. But just make sure that it's not private. And we have made a lot of posters in this class, so I feel like you're all pretty comfortable with that. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you want to do it with using Google Slides or something along those lines, that's fine too. But Pictochart's really awesome. Okay, so within your poster, you need to include 5 facts about the author that you found from your research, a link to 3 features of the author's website. So let me back up. A link to the website and an explanation of 3 things that you will find on the particular website. So definitely need to do the research on the website, explore it, and then tell us, oh, this website has an awesome explanation about the author. It goes into great detail. It links you out to further activities, whatever you want to put that is exciting about that author's particular website. And then find an interview or article ideas, 3 facts that you learn from reading articles about or interviews of your author, and at least 2 links or sources that you use. So in other words, you need to find at least 2 interviews or 2 articles that you can share on the poster. You need to include the link to that interview. as well as 3 facts that you learned from the interviews themselves. You can, of course, add more if you were so enlightened. Then you're going to include an overview of the types of books and the age range that the author focuses on, as well as a specific overview of the 5 books that you already have read and reviewed. So the 5-book overview on the poster needs to include the title, a quick, brief synopsis of the book, the target audience, so the age range, the format of the book, and the genre of the book. Your poster should include all of that information, and there is a rubric below to help you make sure that you have included all of that important information. Once you are complete with your poster, go ahead and submit to Canvas. If you send me just the link, just make sure that it is opened for me to be able to open it, that it's not set to private, or you can do a file upload. Okay, that is the author study, and again, it's not due till the end of, or getting towards the end of Module 6, so just please, between doing your final project and the author study, just be managing your time so it doesn't become too overwhelming as we begin December, because we don't want December to be that overwhelming. Okay, the next thing is our literature study. This is due at the very end of the course. I have suggested that you were reading Hugo throughout the semester. I hope you have, because it's a beautiful book. It's one of my favorites. For this assignment, you will, of course, you have already read The Invention of Hugo Cabret, and then you're going to explore online resources to learn more about our author and his ideas behind the text. The reason for this is that when we get to know the author's intentions or interests and goals for a particular book, it can help us see and understand the book in a whole new way. And after you've had the opportunity to read this book, my hope is that you have grown to absolutely love it and become very connected with it, because through the pictures, it just speaks to you throughout the whole thing. So now that you've had that experience, you're going to go and explore what Brian Selznick's intent was. So of course, read the book, and then you're going to conduct an analysis of Brian Selznick's website. It's a really cool website. It gives a whole explanation about Hugo, a whole explanation about Georges Méliès, which is one of the main characters, an explanation about Remy Charlotte, and of course, more about our author, which is Brian Selznick. It also has links out to interviews and even more links. So spend some time exploring Brian Selznick's website. It's awesome, and it will really give you a beautiful insight into his whole journey with Hugo, because it truly was a journey. It was not something that he just did without purpose. It had a very purposeful intent throughout his whole journey with it. So I hope that you will enjoy that exploration. Once you've conducted your analysis on the website, then you're going to conduct an analysis of at least 2 professional reviews of the book from the web, and locate and review at least 1 interview with the author about writing of the book. If you come back here, if you click on interviews and links, there's a lot of great information here. Interviews and links, there's additional sites up here. But these are where you're going to find the bulk of that information. After you've done all of that, you're going to make a copy of this Google form, of course, as we always do, make a copy, and then complete this. This is your literature study. So you have already done the review and the synopsis, so seek and read 2 professional reviews about the book. For each, include a link to the review and a synopsis. So here's the link to the review about the book. Here's a synopsis of the review written in your own words. You do that twice. Next, you're going to find and read or listen to 1 interview with Brian Selznick about his work on Hugo. You're going to put the link of that interview here and a synopsis of what that interview contained. Then you are going to share your response to each of the questions below in your own words and make a connection between the book and what you learned from your research about the author. Each response needs to be 5 to 7 sentences. That means it needs to be a nice, well-explored paragraph for each response. If it is not in depth, you will lose points. Make sure you're referencing ideas from the book in your response. So number 1, how does the information you research shed light on the creation or intentions of the story? Explain this in detail using your own insight from your reading experience to what you have just learned. Number 2, what insights did you gain from studying the life of the author? Once you understand more about this author, it will really shed some light onto what you have read, reading his works. So explain that in depth. And number 3, how do the resources you explored add to your interpretation of the novel? So the resources, of course, were those interviews of him as well as reviews of the book. So use that information that you gained to write an in-depth exploration of your interpretation now that you have read that additional information and done this research. All right, everybody, that is a literature study. It's the final literature study in our course, and if you have questions about that, please email me directly through Canvas, and I can help you walk through that more. Okay, everybody, so that concludes our discussion of the author study as well as lit study number 4. I will create one more video where I will walk you through the final part of your project, which is the final part of your final project, assessing your resources, and I will walk through the rubric of your final project in my next video. All right, everybody, good luck with your author study and your lit study. If you have any questions, as always, you know where to find me through Canvas. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.